policemen, she was able to, catch hold of all the terrorists. So why I'm saying this is, it's not just brawn that is important. You have to have a brain and her attitude that it is possible to tackle a difficult situation, and she made things work for herself. With very minimal support, she was able to catch hold of all those terrorists. So I have listed a number of such stories of police people who have worked against odds. I mean, we know what happened in Bombay. How many brave policemen have crossed all barriers at the risk of their life and have contributed a great service. Hats off to all our brave policemen. What I'm saying is that you have to change your attitude to work. This is my duty, I'll only do this and nothing more. Then you are not an empowered police person or any empowered person. A person who thinks that this is the prescribed thing, I'll do only the prescribed thing, he or she is not an empowered person. The person who thinks beyond what is the call of duty, who stretches oneself beyond the call of duty, who is constantly growing, who does things which is considered impossible, who makes things work for oneself, I call them an empowered person. When you look around, you will find there are many, many people like this. You look at Helen Keller. Did she not have any problems? But she became a world famous person. So, I'm not saying that it is always possible. But then if you have an attitude that this problem is not going to bog me down, I am going to overcome the barriers and do what I want to do to change my life, that is a person, empowered person. I'll tell you a small example. We lived in Berlin for 1 year. You know, the Berlin, West Berlin and the East Berlin, there was a big, thick concrete wall, maybe as thick as this room, there's a concrete wall. And then there were police sentry every 100 yards with a gun drawn, and anybody who tries to cross from East Berlin to West Berlin, they'll be mercilessly shot. That was the condition in which it was there. And then on the wall of the West Berlin side, there is a museum, it is still there, where they have shown the people who have, in spite of all these problems, crossed over from East Berlin into West Berlin. Now, what they used to do is some people dug a tunnel under the wall and came over here. And there are some people who went on a hot air balloon and came and landed on this side. And in those days, if you had friends, I mean, the legitimate people, there is a checkpoint Charlie where you can legitimately cross from West Berlin to East Berlin. So they had friends from West Berlin, and they can take their car and go to East Berlin and then come back. So people used to hang on to the chassis of the car and then cross over. The friends would ferry them across. Then the Germans found out this is what happening. This is why now all over they put a mirror under the car to check whether there is any bomb there or anybody hanging there or something like this. It's become such a common thing. Now even if you have to go to, after this Bombay blast, if you want to enter any 5-star hotel, they stop the car, put the mirror under the car and open the dicky and see what is there, and then only they let you go in. And then there's a very interesting exhibit in that museum, it's still there. One man found that you can't hang under the chassis and go, so he was a motor mechanic. He redesigned the car in such a way that he could hide himself into the petrol tank. He designed it in such a way that he could squeeze himself into the petrol tank, and he asked some friend to drive him across because they didn't have all these metal detectors or whatever it is, they could not. That car is still there in the museum on the West Berlin. Friends, what I'm trying to drive at is, if somebody is determined to overcome barriers, can there be greater barriers than this? And these people were able to overcome all these barriers and free themselves because they believed it is possible to do what is considered impossible. So another characteristic of an empowered person who tries to overcome barriers is to get over your fear, stress, and anxiety. If you're afraid, if I do this, what will happen? You will never do anything. If you're stressed, my God, if I do these things, what will happen? You will never do anything. If you have anxiety, if I do this thing, what will be the repercussions? I I'm hats off to that policeman in Madhya Pradesh who hauled up a chief secretary. This road you're not allowed to go, and that policeman has been suspended. I felt very sad that day that an honest policeman who was doing his duty was charge sheeted by the politician to show their power for it. We'll have to fight these things. That can be done only collectively. This can be done, and so unless we get over our fear, stress and anxiety, we will not be able to overcome any barriers. So friends, there are three components. Knowledge. You have to acquire the right knowledge about the cyber law and what are the implications and how to deal with cyber law and cyber crime and all those things. Knowledge part is very important. You have to develop the skills of operating the computer, how to detect what's happening, where it's happening, what you can do about it. That skill you need about computer savvy, you have to become internet savvy, you have to understand what is a website. Everything you have to learn. Knowledge and skill is important. Most important of all, it's not enough if you have knowledge and skills. If you do not have the right attitude to overcome barriers and empower yourself and build your capacity to what you want to do. I'd like to end with a quotation from Swami Vivekananda. He said, people carry within them the potential for self-actualization through inner directed continuous development. This is a definition of capacity building. People, he meant both men and women. People carry within them. This is inside you. The capacity is inside you. The neuroscientists are telling us we are not even using 5% of the talent and skill knowledge available to us. The brain power we have, we are not even tackling 5% of our capacity. So people carry within them the potential. You have the potential. You have to release it. Potential for self-actualization. What is self-actualization? Whatever you want to be is your self-actualization. It's not going and sitting in the Himalayas doing penance and I've become a self-actualized person. If you want to complete your PhD, that's your self-actualization. If you want to become an IG of police, that's your self-actualization. Whatever you set the goal for yourself is your self-actualization. People carry within them the potential for self-actualization. How? Through inner directed continuous development. You have to be developing constantly. What is developing? Building your capacity. Building your capacity for what? Knowledge, attitude and skills. How? One day we will come and talk here, Srimati will come and talk, Shakuntala will come and talk, Jaya will come and talk, but it has to be inner directed continuous development. Beautiful sentence. People carry within them the potential for self-actualization through inner directed continuous development. I want to leave this message with you. I hope this statement of Swami Vivekananda will inspire you to become an empowered, capacity-full person, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you. I hope you're all empowered person. I just end with one story. You all read the Ramayana, no? Story, Ramayana. No, I think my voice is just, I'm very fond of saying this. No, when Hanuman was asked to jump the Lanka to go and find Sita, Hanuman said, I'm a chota fellow, how can I jump this great sea? Jambavan comes and says, Hanuman, you don't know your own capacity, come on, jump. And he jumped. You're all the Hanumans, I'm the Jambavan. I say you get empowered, and you're all empowered now.
And I know how you feel about the whole day sitting and listening to all kinds of technical, non-technical lectures. So I will try to be very brief, but I want to start off with something that scares me and should scare you. I think it was Srimati who spoke about morphing, M-O-R-P-H-I, and that refers to taking one picture, maybe naked picture of a female body from anywhere, textbook or whatever, adding somebody's face to it, as if it is her picture, and it's very easy on a computer. I'm saying this not just in times of pictures, you just see. And the morning session I attended, there was some talk about evidence, that emails can be taken as evidence, etc., etc. On the internet also, messages exchanged, whatever. Just look at what can happen. I sing. I'm a trained musician. And I was quite well known. I used to broadcast. And now I have cut down on public performances. I teach. I prepare students. So last year, I had a radio broadcast, and one of my students said, I'm going to prepare a CD out of all your 25 years of singing. So ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನೇನಿದೆಯೋ ಕೊಡಿ, ನಾನು ಸಿಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. So I said, I'm singing on the radio next week, ಅದನ್ನು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. And I sang, and then afterwards I felt, ಅಯ್ಯೋ 60 ವಯಸ್ಸಾಯಿತು, ಈಗ ಅಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಡ, ಸಿಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರೋಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಡ ಅಂದರೆ, you know what he said? This is a computer expert. And he says, Madam, don't worry at all. Just give me 30 seconds of one of your 1985 concerts. Adannu hakidre computeralli it will recognize the voice. And then that voice quality will be transferred to yesterday's broadcast. So what I sang yesterday in a very gruff old age voice, ashtu chanagilla andre bejar patkolbeda, ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು, ನೆನ್ನೆ ಹಾಕಿರೋ 1 hour ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ it will transfer to that voice. So it will be as if I am singing in that 1985 voice today. If this is the technology that is available, ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಿಲ್ವಾ, ನಂದು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ, ನಾನು ಕಾನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಬೇರೆ ಲತಾ ಮಂಗೇಶ್ಕರ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಹಾಡ್ಬೋದಿಲ್ವಾ? ನಂದು ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು ಸಿ ಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ನಂದು, ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅವಳದು. ಈ ಥರ ಇರೋವಾಗ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್? Supposing I say something, the terrorists are going to come day after tomorrow, just for fun irbodu, or just like, or serious, whatever, it doesn't matter. I say some sentence which is very incriminating. Adannu ತಗೊಂಡು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ವಾಯ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಕೇರಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ನನ್ನ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ, even what my student has produced at CD, it is not my voice, not today's voice. 1985 ಅಂದರೆ 23 ವರ್ಷ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇರೋ ವಾಯ್ಸನ್ನು ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಹಾಕಿದರೆ, tomorrow I can put something in his voice or your voice or Dilip's voice. So who is to say Dilip did not say it? This is the kind of mind-boggling technological advances which makes even your Evidence Act very difficult. That is one point I wanted to make. And then very quickly I will go over some of the high-tech frauds. I have just 5 or 6. I will put them one by one and explain, and then after that I won't bore you at all. But before I start, one more little incident just to make you sit up before you all break for coffee or tea. The day before Obama's election, January, inauguration rather, I don't know, many of you, did you get a email picture with Bush linking hands and dancing with somebody? Anyone you got? Ilva? Can you guess who he was dancing with? Thousands of people, lakhs of people got this. Bush was dancing around with Bin Laden. And they said, we hope this will, one era is ending tomorrow because Barack Obama is inaugurating. And it was sarcasm, of course. They wanted to criticize Bush. So he was after Bin Laden's life. And somebody is able to create, it was a real Bush picture. And it was animated on dance kunita idane. And holding his hand and hugging him was Bin Laden. That was also a very true picture. ಈ ಥರ ಏನೇನೋ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. So tomorrow who stops my picture being put there and showing that I was dancing with one of you? ಇಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಥರ ಕೇಸ್ಗಳು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್. ಅಯ್ಯೋ, ಅವರು ಈ ವಯಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಶಕುಂತಲಾ ನರಸಿಂಹನ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಹೋಗಿ ಏನು ಕುಣಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, this your awareness of Evidence Act does not really help when you are confronted with this kind of cyber. This is also cyber crime, ilva? You tell Bush he will shoot himself. Even in his dream he doesn't want to dance with Bin Laden. Anyway, I will quickly tell you, and I'm not a computer expert, I'm not a technical person, I'm not a police person, I'm not a lawyer. So what I'm showing you is to empower you as ordinary citizens, whether you're a student or policewoman, policeman, whatever. As an individual, a little bit of information I'm trying to share with you. ನನಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. The first one is first one. Credit Card Association, Credit Card Holders Association. How many of you have credit cards? Situations. If you travel abroad, credit card ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Without that, they will not take cash in certain instances. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಕೂಡ ತೊಗೋಬೋದು. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬೈ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಏನು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇರೋಲ್ಲ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಯರಿಂದ ಸತಾಯಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನೇನೋ ಬಿಲ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ನೆನ್ನೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದ ಅದೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಏನೇನು ಮೋಸ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಾಯ್ತು. ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಇನ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆದರೆ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ there is an association which will take up your complaints. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ಸಿಲ್ಕ್ ಭವನ್ ಅಂತ, ರೇಷ್ಮಿ ಭವನ್, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಫ್ಲೋರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಇದೆ. CV ಗಿಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ, he is the honorary secretary. He was a banker and he is very knowledgeable about law also. ಅವರು ಅದನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇದು ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದ ರಾತ್ರಿ ತನಕ ಇದೇ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರೋದು. ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಇತ್ತು ಸರ್, ತುಂಬ ಈಸಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಏನೇನೋ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. ಮನೆಗೆ ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿದರೆ ನಾನು ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರೋದು 13,000, ಬಿಲ್ ಬಂದಿರೋದು 32,000. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ರೈಟ್ ಟು ದೆಮ್ ಆರ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಫಾಲ್ ದೆಮ್, ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಅ ಕಾಲ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್. ಏನಾಗೋಲ್ಲ, 3 ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ನಂಬರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ಕಾಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಟು ದ ರೈಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್, ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಡೇ. Only 3 call center people are trained to say these sentences. ಏನಾಗಲಿ, ಈವನ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸೇ 32 ಲಕ್ಷ ನನ್ನ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂದ ಹೋಗಿದೆ, ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಇದೆ, ಏನಾಯಿತು, ನಾನು ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದೀಸ್ 3. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ಕಾಲಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಲುಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಸರ್, ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಡೇ, ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಗುಡ್ ಡೇ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೋಪ ಬಂತು ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಒಂದು ಸಲ. ನಾನು ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಸ್ಟ್. ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಲಾಪ್ಡ್ ದಟ್ ಗರ್ಲ್. Have a great day, you know. And I tried to answer saying, what the hell do you mean have a great day? I have just lost so much money. Andre ಇಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. She will not listen to you. ಅವ್ರ ಕೆಲಸ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೋ ದೇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಯು ಗೋ ಆನ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್, ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಇವನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್. ಕಾಲ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ನಂಬರ್ 1500 ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೋ, ಬಾಂಬೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಭುವನೇಶ್ವರ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಮೆರಿಕಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಹಾಂಗ್ಕಾಂಗ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ವೇರ್ ಶಿ ಈಸ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ she will not be on duty. There will be somebody else. I don't know, madam, you give me the details. And again 3 cents, thanks for calling, have a great day. So you feel like banging your head against a wall. Card ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಥರ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಬಂದರೆ ಹೌ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ಅದು ಯಾರು ಹೇಳೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಬೇಕಾಯಿತು. ಬೇಕಂದರೆ ಬರೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. But at least you should know that there is such an association. At some point you might get a credit card problem idre, or you can share the information with other people who have the card. Next slide please. ಜೊತೆಗಿರುವಾಗ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಬಂತಂದರೆ ಪಾಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊರಟೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. Nobody checks whether it is the same card which was handed over. ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು it may be Visa card. And I have actually interviewed. When I went to the Credit Card Holders Association office, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡುವಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಮೇಡಮ್ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಟ್ ಫಾರ್ 2 hours, ಏನೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಆನ್ ಅವರ್ ಒಂದು ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಬಂದ, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಿಂದ. ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಸ್ಪರಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್, ಎಲ್ಲ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇದೆ, ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ 3 lakhs ಆರ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ. ಬಟ್ ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ದಿಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಥ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಅ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಹಿಮ್. ವಾಸ್ ತುಂಬ ಈಸಿ ಸರ್, ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂದ. ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೋ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಳೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಟ್ಟನು, ಏನಾಯಿತೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ನು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್. ಅವನಿಗೆ 62 ಲಕ್ಷ ಬಿಲ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿ ಸೆಡ್, ನಾನು ಇರೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಸ್ತಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಕೂಡ 6 ಲಕ್ಷ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, 7 ಲಕ್ಷ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಇನ್ನು ಏನು ಪರಿಹಾರ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಆತ್ಮಹತ್ಯೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಂತೆ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ದ. ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ he is not illiterate. And if he is says very seriously, he was not joking. ಇನ್ನೇನು ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಆತ್ಮಹತ್ಯೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಅವನು ಏಜೆಂಟ್ ದಿನಾ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬಂದು ಬೈಯೋದು, ಅಕ್ಕಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋರೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗುಂಡಾಯಿಸು. ಕೊಡ್ತೀಯಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನು 2 ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ಸಾಮಾನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೊರಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು, ಏನೇನೋ ಬೈಯೋದು, ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಮಾತು ಹೇಳೋದು. ಹ್ಯುಮಿಲಿಯೇಷನ್, he could not bear the humiliation. It was not the monetary loss but the humiliation that he could not bear. ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಯು ಫೀಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್. ಆತ್ಮಹತ್ಯೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಇವನು. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ವೆನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್, ಮೇಕ್ ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೋರ್ ಓನ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಈ ಥರ, ಬೇರೆ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಪಾಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊರಟೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಯಿತು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯೋರ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸ್ವೈಪ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್, ಸೊ ದೇ ನೋ ಯೋರ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ವೈಪ್ 10 times. Next one, please. Your protection against fraudulent use starts only from the time of informing the bank about loss of card. Okay, this is an interesting thing. This is a case I personally handled. Card ittu for one man in Bangalore. Is it okay to mix Kannada or there are many people without Kannada or what? Okay, credit card ittu, and he went to MG Road in Bangalore, and he had locked it inside his scooter box. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಏನೋ ಲೆಟ್ರ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಗೆ ಹೋದ, ಏನೋ ಕೆಲಸ 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಕೆಲಸ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದ. ಸಂಬಡಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಓಪನ್ಡ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಸ್ಕೂಟರ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಹೋಯಿತು. 2 o'clock he lost the card. He found that it is gone. 158 or something, he must have stopped the scooter. 2 o'clock he lost it. There is a hotline number to report loss always. ಆ ನಂಬರ್ ಡಯಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ 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 2:40ಗೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಲೈನ್ ಸಿಕ್ತು. 40 minutes between the time he found the loss of the card and the report. And ಆ 40 minutesಲ್ಲಿ somebody has withdrawn 35,000-40,000 on that card. ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ATM ಹೋದರೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕೇಸ್ ವೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಕೋರ್ಟ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯೂಡ್ that you reported at 2:40, so we blocked your card at 2:40. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಆಗಿರೋ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀನೇ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್, ನೀನೇ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರಬೇಕು. 10 times you must have withdrawn 40,000 rupees. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಹೋಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀಯಾ? That was the bank's argument. And he said no, it went at 2 o'clock but I could not get through. How do you prove that you could not get through? Proof ಇದೆಯಾ?